after last season, what did you work hard on or hardest on in the offseason to fill out your entire game?
I would probably say just strength, filling out my body, more muscle, being able to endure the long seasons. So endurance, body strength throughout my whole entire body.
What was it feel like coming into camp this year, having had, you didn't have to go through the pre-draft process, you focus on football, and also have some OTAs, things like that? How much of that?
It was huge to have a full all season where I already was able to know what I needed to work on coming into this season. Just being able to get what I needed, being able to work with the quarterbacks, and just kind of having just a bunch of weight lifted off me, just not having to worry about stuff outside, just being able to worry about football and what I need to get done this season and things to work towards.
Over the summer, I think you worked out with Trey Lance. What were you able to learn from him, and what was that like, or learn about him?
From the first day I met Trey, we had the same speed trainer down in Orange County, so we were able to work out together starting there. But every single day, he was there every single day, ready to work no matter what he had going on. So just the character of the kid as a young kid, I just saw that early on.
You mentioned that you guys were a little disappointed when, Mohamed Sanu got cut last year. What's it like having him back and seeing him sort of in the shape that he used to be?
Yeah. I love Mo. Mo was somebody that I gravitated towards early from the first day he came into the building last season. So it was pretty upsetting to see him go, but I still kept in contact with him. I'm still learning from him, and then to have him back this season, seeing him in great shape, even better than where he was at last year, just being able to talk to him about certain things. He's been through it. He's been with a bunch of great receivers. He's a great receiver himself, so he knows everything from the ins and outs, taking care of your body, how to approach practices, how to approach off days, how to approach rehab, treatment, everything. So somebody like that is huge.
You had a play a couple days ago in practice where Jimmy rolled out kind of off schedule, found you, and Jimmy said that normally he would have to point to the receiver to go to a certain spot, but he said that you were already there. What is it about that chemistry? Have you been able to kind of figure Jimmy out, figure Trey out, to figure some of these off schedule plays, just given your time and the year under your belt?
Yeah, I think just being with Jimmy is just like, he kind of just, I don't know, I would just say there were some certain plays last season in practice towards the end of the season where we were just on the same page, just like without even having to talk about it, without even having to go over it. We just kind of had the same type of feel for certain situations, and we saw that a little bit again. But I think if I'm correct on the play that you're talking about, that was really just just a ball by him, just great accuracy on the move, rolling out. So yeah.
And that's Randy, you said you can read your body language really easily. Is that something that you actually think about, or is it just something that happens naturally?
I think it's more naturally, just having a feel for the game, having a feel for grass and area, and where people are going to be and what the quarterback may be thinking. So I think it's more a feel, natural thing.
Do you think you've made any progress on convincing the coaching staff to allow you to do punts this season? What are your thoughts on that?
I think for me, it's just going out there every single day and being consistent with the punt thing. I've taken a new approach this season and feeling punts, taking it personal, not letting any balls on the ground, going out there every single day, being thorough throughout meetings, throughout practice, and just putting myself in the best situation for whatever happens with that. I love returning punts, but I know there's some stuff that I had to clean up for myself to be back there. And if they feel confident putting me back there, then we'll see what happens.
Brandon, you were obviously really good at that in college. What were you talking about, just mishandling some stuff last year that wasn't as good?
Well, I had I believe 2 opportunities on punt last year. So I don't think it was. I just think it was just with the stuff with the season that we had last year, the stuff that was going on. I don't even know if my body was in position to add on extra hits at returner. So, like I said, I'll handle what I had to handle at practice, and we'll see what happens with that.
obviously you didn't do it much last year. Was that kind of a situation where you were a rookie, you obviously had time off, and so they didn't really want to put that on your plate? Was that part of the deal?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
You have to ask them.
Could you explain the drill you do where you have the towels under your arms, I assume to keep your arms tucked?
Yeah, so that's just like a drill. Just it forces you to keep your elbows in. 'Cause when you're fielding a punt, you want to use your elbows, kind of squeeze it in there. It makes it a little bit harder, but it's just kind of that memory of having your hands in the right spot, your elbows tucked, and it makes it a little bit harder to make it so that when you don't have the towels underneath your hand, it makes it a little bit easier for you.
How much muscle have you put on since your rookie year?
I'm not sure the exact amount that I put on. I put on 4 pounds, but also dropped in body fat and added muscle, so I'm not sure the exact amount. But
Brandon, we can see, and anybody watching can see the mask. What's your situation?
I'm still working through the vaccine situation, because I believe that is your question and what you're asking me. But yeah, still working towards that, but leave it at that.
It seems like there's a healthy rivalry between you and Deep on one side, Jason Verrett and K1 Williams on the other. How does their play lift your game?
First thing, Jason Verrett, that's another person that I gravitated towards a lot. I'm talking to him all the time. He was another person that I worked out in the offseason with, training to the field. But he's one of the best corners in this league. So, and he tells me I could be one of the best receivers in this league. So it's kind of just like a healthy competition. We know we're getting each other better. K1, anytime you go in the slot, you know what you're going to get from K1. And anytime you go up against those guys, me and Devo know exactly how we have to come when we go against those guys, because really anybody on the defense, but we know exactly how we have to come against them, because they're great defenders.
Something that they've done that kind of makes you, I guess, your game kind of develop even more? Like, is there something a technique that has gotten better because of that?
I think for everybody, or for each corner, everybody plays a little bit different. Like Jason, he's a little bit more of a patient guy, very quick feet, so you kind of have to have different releases and different ideas when it comes to the line versus him. K1's the same way, Jimmy's the same way. All those guys bring a different skill set to the same job. So it's kind of just like figuring out how to do different things at different moments versus different guys, which is something that you're going to have to do in the season, going against different people who play different techniques. So I think that's been the main thing, just learning what you have to do against who.
Some of the other pass catchers coming to this team have said their rookie season was really kind of swimming, just trying to learn the playbook and not really having freedom to, just sort of let loose and play because they were still learning it. Do you feel like you sort of you've reached that point where you can play a little bit more freely because you are a little bit more comfortable within the system?
Yeah, definitely. I think now, but this off, it's still to a point where you have to make sure that you're on point every single day, because you will still mess it up if you're not really focused and paying attention. But I think I've got to a point this season to where I can get to the line of scrimmage and I could start thinking about what my plan is going to be as to running routes or releasing, rather than getting to the line and, am I running this or am I running this? And really not even paying attention to the defense, being able to see the defense, seeing coverage, seeing the shell, because you're worried about if you have the right play. So I think that's been the main thing this season, just having more of a grasp of the offense and being more confident going out there, and just being able to play football now instead of having to think.
Trey Lance, did you meet him before the draft?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. So what was your reaction? You draft him, and then you guys meet him, or then you meet him. Like, what was your first your first reaction upon meeting him and working out with him?
Well, so like I said, we were down in the same area, but he was working with a different group of guys. And then after he was done with the draft process, he was no longer with those guys, and he came in after us, or came in to work with us, so we were able to work together at that time. But what was your second part of that question?
Well, just your first reaction, what kind of impression did he make initially with you?
Well, our meeting off the bat, just his presence for however old he was at the time, he was just a big dude, strong dude. Like I said, it was with the speed trainer, so he was a fast dude too. Just his presence